Hello everyone. Oh, it's not in focus, is it? Let's try it again. Hello everyone. Welcome to a Sunday stream. I'm very excited to be here with y'all. I thought that it would be a good time to bring back a Q&A, and also I made this decision last night. I was like, I feel like we should do a Q&A and we're going to do a live stream because I wasn't feeling particularly inspired to go out and make some video. So here we are. Let me mute that. All right. What's up to James Pruitt and up and coming? Hello. All right. Nice. All right. So if you didn't know as well, I put a link in the description, and that is a link to a Google form, and that is where you can also submit a question. And yes, do that so that I don't have anyone being like, oh, someone got a question answered before I did, blah, 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 all that stuff. So just put it in and it will do it in order. FYI, if you didn't see that, that's where it is, okay? Okay, now let me just make sure that none came in right away. And let's also, I'm going to pull up, there were some questions that were left on a community post that I had put up a little bit ago, so I want to make sure I also get to those. Let me pull that up. How's everyone's Sunday going? Let me know. And we're going to go to the community tab. And here we go. Questions. The first one was, as someone who has only ever used iMovie, what do you think would be a good next software for me to use? Okay, so Tina and Gina, thank you for your question. I would say a good ramp up from iMovie. A lot of people might say it could be Final Cut Pro because of the fact that they're both from the same company. I'm going to say it also depends on what it is that, oh goodness, are you already causing trouble, James Pruitt? Hold on, let me bring my window over so I have the chat underneath here too. Okay, so let's take a peek here. It depends on your needs. You know, for some people, DaVinci Resolve could be a good one, and you don't have to make the $300 jump into Final Cut Pro. It could be that iMovie may be sufficient for you if you learn how to use all the ins and outs of it. I mean, it can really, really, really depend. So it's a tough question because I also would say, what are you trying to accomplish? If you're not trying to do multiple overlays, if you're not trying to do multicam clips, if you're not trying to do certain things, then maybe you don't need to be in Final Cut Pro. So, but if you're looking for something that kind of looks and acts and feels like Final Cut Pro, then iMovie could be a really good thing. If also you're on a device such as like an iPad, good shake, buddy, then I might even go the route of LumaFusion. LumaFusion's around $20-ish, and it's a really pretty advanced editing program. If you're on an iPad, it works better, I think, on an iPad than an iPhone, because I feel like you need more real estate on the screen for it to actually, for you to be able to see all the menus and everything. So I would say, you know, depending on what kind of device you're on, I might also recommend LumaFusion. It's not the prettiest to look at, but it does do a lot of great things. It also processes 4K clips really, really quickly. Yeah, it just also depends. If you're editing on your phone, I think a nice jump up from that sometimes is like something like InShot or Splice. So I would need to know a little bit more about that. But I would say, yeah, if you're on a computer, maybe Final Cut Pro. If you're on an iPad, maybe LumaFusion. If you're on a phone, maybe InShot. So there's that. All right. The next one is from Timmy. It says, first off, I love your channel. Thank you, Timmy, for that. It says, second, I was wondering if there are any things that you could not live without when it comes to content creating. Ooh, that's a good one. Things that I can't live without. Okay. Number one, since I use the same program now for a live stream as I do creating my videos, I would say one is a software, which is going to be Ecamm, which I use. It's absolutely essential and part of my workflow. I guess if you, in that same vein, you could say Restream as well, because I use it to always multicast. But Ecamm is really, really great because of the fact I can record in 4K, I can record my screen easily. So it's absolutely kind of an essential piece. For me to be able to bring in the current camera that I'm using, I use an Elgato Cam Link so that I can bring in the clear video from my camera, which currently is the Lumix G7. If you're not in this setup though, in my old setup, I would say the Sigma 18-35 lens was one of my essentials. It has that nice low f-stop, so you get a blurry bokeh background. Love that. And it was absolutely one of my favorite pieces of gear. In fact, I would always say go on a lesser camera body, like the Canon 70D versus 80 or 90, and throw that Sigma lens on there, and you'll be super impressed with how good it looks. So I think a lot of that is in the lens and not in the camera body itself, especially if you're doing like talking head, sitting down videos like myself. So yeah, I might say that. What else? Things you cannot live without. Cannot live without. That's a tough one. Cannot live without. A good mic? Yeah, because I mean, I like having, yeah, I would say those are the things. Wow, it was kind of a hard question. It was making me like think about that for a second. All right. Absolutely, Abby Alexis has asked, how do you come up with a username or channel name when you are first starting out? That's a really good question. So when it comes to naming conventions for your channel, I don't necessarily recommend having something like Pokemon Lover 547 because it may seem like a good idea at the time, but in 5, 10, 15 years from now, is that same name going to, do you still want that to be your username? And most of the time, it's probably not. I would say for some people, if you have some sort of variation on your phone, on your name, that could be one thing that you could go with, because for some people, most of the time, your name is not something that is going to change. Now, caveat that with sometimes females will change their name when they get married or divorced, or life events may happen. Some people may or may not choose to change their name, so it's maybe sometimes something that a gentleman doesn't always have to worry about. But sometimes you may also be concerned if you put your full legal name out there as well, then that you could have crazy stalkers down the road as well. So one thing that I would say is kind of important as well is if you could try and find a name that is available across all different platforms, that can help influence what you might choose as a username, because if it's only available on one place and then every other place it's already taken by someone who has a very large following, that could be confusing / not a great thing if every time someone is trying to look for you, instead of Annie Porta-Lawton, it's a girl in Florida 557. You know what I mean? So that doesn't necessarily make as much sense. So trying to keep in mind, if it's something that you think you're going to be in for a while, that could also be something. Now, one thing that a lot of people also get confused about is, hey, if it's something about like sewing and crafting 525, what if one day you don't want to do sewing and crafting stuff anymore? What if one day you, oh no, your Panasonic, what happened to your Panasonic's G7? That's what I currently use to stream on. It's been a good camera. It's been difficult, I think, sometimes to get the lighting correct, but once I got it dialed in, I kind of just stopped messing with it. But what happened to your camera? Oh no. Also, if you guys didn't see, there is a Google form in the description box. So if you go there, that's where I'm looking for questions now. Responses. Yes, responses. How do I see the individuals? Okay. And then how do I go see the one at the end, like the last one? Aha. Sorry. I'm in my Google form right now. I'm looking. 23. Go look at 23. Let's see here. No, I've looked at that one. I've looked at that one. Okay. All right. So, let me also just put that in there in case you guys didn't see that. I think I can pin it too, right? 1 second. Boom, 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 boom. But if one day you decide that you don't want to make videos on that particular thing anymore, then that can become difficult. I'm going to pin that one. There we go. Now it's pinned. So you also see people like Catherine Manning, who changed her name from the Content Bug, and I think she spoke a little bit about how difficult it is when you have a website and all kinds of content and your YouTube channel all known as one type of thing. And then she switched over to the from the Content Bug to Catherine Manning, something like that. So just keep in mind, it's something that you can change in the future, but the longer you go down that road, then maybe the more of a pain in the butt it's going to be to change it. So while it's not the most important thing to be worrying about in the very beginning, it is something to be worried about in the very beginning. So thank you so much for your question for that one, Abby Alexis. Thank you for coffee delivery service, highly recommended. Yes. Okay. So the next question is from Lulu Animations. It says, do you think it is better for a person to start a channel on their own or with friends? Okay. So coffee break. What's in your cup, people? I know it's not Thursday, but I can still be curious and ask you what's in your cup today. This is one of my absolute favorite mugs. It combines two of my very favorite things. Hold on one second. Let me turn it around. It's got little macarons on it, and it's got the Starbucks logo. So this was a special edition cup from Starbucks, and I saw someone have this cup, and I just about lost my mind. And I was like, oh my God, I have to have this cup. But it wasn't available anywhere. And my husband, how sweet is he? He went, he was taking a mental note, and he went online and he found a place like eBay or someone selling it online. He searched for it and he found me my favorite cup. So it's a nice it's a nice memory and a little memento, that he did that for me. So I love that so much. So in here, if you've never seen it, this is how I take my coffee. It is 2 pumps of the Torani vanilla syrup, and then it is half coffee, just black coffee. It kind of doesn't depend on the kind, but sometimes there's like a flavoring in there, and then it's half of the chocolate Premier protein shake that you can get, like the from Premier Protein. So it's kind of like a vanilla white mocha, but with coffee. So I don't know about y'all, but ever since everything that's been going down with that nationwide pandemic that we're not supposed to talk about, we make coffee at home. And that's my coffee drink. All right. Butter coffee. Nice. Good choice. All right. So the question was, do you think it's better for a person to start a channel on their own or with friends? I'm going to say 100% on your own. So we're going to go down story lane, road, memory, whatever, for just a minute here. And when I first started my channel, not this channel, it was a different channel. I was doing, I had 2 videos out. Okay. I had done 2 videos. One was a Ipsy versus Sephora play maybe, and one was just a, maybe it was a BoxyCharm. I don't know. It was a makeup subscription box, okay? And I had made the one video and I put it out, and I was in the process of making the second video, and I went over to a friend's house and like when you're in the beginning, there's two kinds of people who are creating on YouTube. There's one who's kind of like shy and afraid to say anything and very like, I'm not going to tell people because, it's just this thing I'm doing and I'm embarrassed and I don't want to let people know until I'm like a little bit more successful, that kind of thing. That was the camp that I'm in. The other camp, some of y'all know this camp too, are people who just like can't shut up about it and just like, yeah, I made a YouTube channel and I'm going to be amazingly famous and blah, 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 all this stuff. And like, support me, share my videos. They're the ones who are like, share my video, do this, all this stuff, right? You know those people too. I was definitely in the first camp. And so, but we were over at a friend's house. She'd invite us over for dinner, my husband and I. And so she's like, yeah, what's new, blah, 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 all this stuff. And she's kind of in the same like vein, like she really enjoyed makeup, skincare, shopping. I'm not saying I enjoy all those things, but I'm saying like I knew that if I was to share something about makeup or shopping or anything like that with her, that she, out of a lot of the friends, would understand what I was doing. So I was kind of like, yeah, I kind of put out my first YouTube video and it was a makeup subscription unboxing. And her reaction was more like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like I've been wanting to start a YouTube channel for like a while. And I was like, oh, I didn't know you wanted to start a YouTube channel. She's like, oh my God, we should do it together. We should make a YouTube channel together and do this. And, back then I was kind of thinking like, well, I mean, two people, maybe half the work. It's more fun to have the banter with someone else and all of that. I'm like, maybe, I mean, I'm only one video in. I haven't even finished the second video. Seems like, I don't know, right? Maybe this is a good idea. Everyone, you guys tell me, you think it was a good idea? Was it a good idea? So what ended up happening was we made a channel together. So I scrapped the other channel, even though it only had one video on it, right? And I think the other video was how to depot MAC eyeshadows. Yeah. It was how to depot MAC eyeshadows. And then the second one was like Ipsy versus like Sephora Play or Ipsy versus whatever, okay? And it's it's funny because now looking back at it, I think I even took the how to depot MAC eyeshadows and I had burned in like a little watermark into the video that had my like logo, and then we re-released it on the new channel. So we created a new channel together. It's called Shelly and Jade, right? And we decided that we'd start getting together and filming and having some fun, maybe doing some challenges and stuff like that. And it was a good time. It was fun. Here's the thing though, when you have two people or more, when you say a group of people, right? When you have several people putting input into a channel, right? Every decision is a group decision, or, sometimes you can't just go off and make decisions in a moment because you really have to be considerate of multiple people being involved in a channel too. But everything is also a little bit more interesting because it's like, how do you divide up the work? So, making your schedules align so that you can film together, and then, whose camera and equipment, whose house are you going to, who's going to edit each video, who does the title and description and all the research or any, stuff like that, who actually schedules the videos to go live. So all of those things that you would decide as a sole creator, you have to do it with two people. And so it feels like sometimes that decision-making process can be slowed down because it's not just one person making a decision, it's two. So if you guys are with me on this, give me a thumbs up or in the chat or on this video that you're understanding what I'm saying, right? Now, also, there can come a time when competing schedules can align and it becomes like, hey, I can't film because I'm sick, or I've got some work stuff, or, let's say a kid got sick, or you're going on vacation, or there's lots of different things that come around with making stuff maybe not work out. And then at one point, I think the two of us, so we were almost a year in, so we'd been doing it a while, and I think at one point too, it became like a little bit more apparent that like both of us wanted to make content about different things, which can be harder when you have two people on a channel too. So sometimes then there would be videos that only she was in or only I was in, and that could also be based on the fact that we couldn't get together before the end of the month, but we had a monthly subscription box that had come to our house and we needed to unbox it, right? So it was like, okay, you try and film it and edit it and get it up, or let's try and do some other video that isn't time sensitive and get it out, or whatever else it was. So you've got all this going on in this dynamic, and then you also have and the money part too is like, how do you split AdSense? How do you split, is there a split that you need to do if it's on a channel where, let's say a video that she does gets all of the views, or a video that I do has none of the views, or does one person feel slighted? This is very much like a Call Her Daddy podcast scenario, where one of the girls is doing all of the editing and all of the distribution, and the other girl shows up and records and then goes home and doesn't have any part of it. And then the other girl being upset because the first girl who's doing more work, went to the company to negotiate a better contract for themselves because they were doing more work, let's say, than the other person. And they did it, like, let's say, behind the back of the other person. That's what kind of happened with the Call Her Daddy podcast. That is not at all what happened with us. I'm just saying as an example, when you have a partnership happening, those types of things and dynamics can start to come into play as well. And then it gets even worse when you have a group of, let's say, 5 people on a channel, right? And then you have to have implicit trust in the other people that they aren't going to run amok with the passwords. They're not going to close down the account. They're not going to delete your videos. They're not going to, basically lock you out of an account, because absolutely you guys get into a big fight. That's something that could happen as well, right? So you have to have already a layer of trust with people that may or may not exist if you're just a bunch of friends tossing around the idea of like, hey, let's have a YouTube channel together. And I know I'm spending a lot of time on this question, but it's because it's such a complicated answer. So also it becomes a little bit more apparent when we were at a place, right, where she wanted to go into a, let's say, skincare ingredient analysis type of direction. And I wanted to start creating tutorials based on not as much makeup, but stuff about how to become a YouTube creator, how to make videos, how to edit videos, how to get over yourself, basically, to get started on YouTube. And those weren't exactly congruous things on the same channel, right? And also hers was more closely aligned with what the channel was. It was supposed to be reviews, unboxings, just fun times, right? And so me trying to throw in how to do lighting or how to do, camera stuff probably didn't make sense on that channel, because we understood that that's not really what this channel is. So then we decided to have separate channels as well as our main channel that we had together. So I created Shelly Saves the Day, and she went off and created a different channel where she was also able to explore some fun stuff, more fashion, lifestyle, subscription boxes, but also with fashion and skincare, cool stuff. And so it became something where eventually it became clear that we probably, we had different ideas about content, and maybe they didn't even belong on the channel we were on together anyway. So then we ended up splitting off and doing our own channels. So I would just say there's a lot of dynamics that come into having a channel, period. And then throw in the complexity of having multiple people in it. I don't recommend it, and I know it seems like it might be really fun and it might be less work, but I assure you that is not always the case. So let me just say that. So I hope that was helpful, and all right, so the next question, let me go back. What camera is best for a beginner in your opinion? I would say the camera that exists on your cell phone. Here's the deal is when people decide that they want to have a YouTube channel, almost always they think that they need to go out and buy equipment to start their channel. And here's the thing is you could be several thousands of dollars in the hole when you start your channel if you go out and buy all of this gear. And what happens if you make one video and you just hate it? It's not fun for you. It's not a good time. You hate editing. You delay and you just don't put out any videos. It happens so often. Or you're like, I don't like this at all. I don't want to do this. And that also happens a lot. And you don't want to be thousands of dollars of equipment down and then realize this, because then you have this like resentment that is happening. Trust me. Why? I'm just making sure that this video is live. Just making sure I don't see it. But I would say most of the time I would start with equipment that you already have. So most of the time that's going to be your cell phone. And I would say the order of importance for people is usually going to be upgrading their sound, upgrading their lighting, and then lastly, upgrading their video. Because an iPhone shoots 4K in 60 frames, or it can shoot buttery slow motion B-roll in a 1080 240 frame. The camera is not the problem. All the rest of it then that comes with it, right? And not only that, but you can have a beautifully shot video. Some people aren't even going to play it with sound, let's say, if it's just in the background like that fireplace. But although you probably want the crackling of the fireplace. Bad example. But people will watch and sit through a video that has not the best video quality, as long as it sounds decent. But you could have the most beautiful footage, and if you are outside with wind noise and the mic being like just completely blown out and distorted, people will click off of that video. So not only that, I'm also going to say you could have a iPhone with a bunch of lights or natural daylight, and you could have a Canon 5D Mark IV or Canon or Sony a7 III, which is, several thousands of dollars. But if you don't know how to light anything, hi buddy, it's not going to look as good as the video coming off of your iPhone, So again, let me reiterate that the order in which it would be is going to be audio, then lighting, then video, and then all the fun stuff after that. But if I were to recommend a camera for a beginner, the Canon M50 is a very popular one. If you want more of a vlogging type of unit, then I would say something like the Sony ZV-1, which is on my personal shopping list, my wish list. I am trying to get I'm trying to raise $1,000 basically through my Buy Me a Coffee, so that I can purchase the Sony ZV-1 and the little, accessory handheld remote thing for it, because I want to use that video out in the field for doing a lot of the vertical videos, doing more tutorials. So that is one of the little vloggy ones that I might recommend. Sony 6400, also in that same vein, or also not really the Canon G7X Mark II. I would not, because it doesn't have the greatest autofocus. I would go with the Sony ZV-1, the Canon M50, or the Panasonic Lumix G7. And the reason I say that, sometimes you can get that guy on sale for $500, and it will shoot 4K if you want it to, but it's also nice and lightweight, and it can be taken with you on the go as well. So all right, so hopefully that helps with, I think the Canon menus are a little bit simpler than the Sony ones. I'll also put that out there. So just FYI. All right. Hey, Dole Whip Dad, how's it going? Nice to see you. And Lopi Media says, I have not spent much money for equipment yet. I built my own light and I filmed it. What's funny is one of my very first videos, and it was on that other channel, like I said, that I had with my friend. Everyone who's kind of in the beauty space had these beautiful ring lights, the Diva ring light. Maybe you guys have heard of that one, and they're like $400. And I don't know about you. One, I did not have $400 to spend on this fancy ring light. And two, even if I did, I probably would not have spent it on that because it's one piece of equipment. And, you know, just tossing money at a YouTube channel at the very beginning, it's not always the best idea, right? So I decided that I was going to make my own ring light in a DIY type of fashion. And I have a video on this still to this day. I'm still proud of that. And the way that I did it is they have these kind of wreath structures, like little wire structures that you then attach all this stuff to, right, for florists. But I got one that was about the size of a ring light, like an 18-inch circle, something like that. I used the cardboard box that it shipped in to create a circle the size of the ring light. And then I attached the cardboard to the wreath outline thing with zip ties, a bunch of zip ties, just more zip ties than you can imagine, right? But I also wrapped the cardboard in aluminum foil, right? So it's a reflective silvery ring that's attached to this wireframe wreath thing with just a bazillion zip ties, okay? Then I took these strip LED lights that have, like, you peel the sticker off the back and it's got little cubey lights, and I ran it around the outside edge of it, and so much so that I had to get two things of it, and I was proud of myself because you can connect these like string things together. So I decided to do that and then keep going so that it was encompassing the entire light. And then I used a paper towel holder or like some sort of Amazon Basics, like $20 tripod or something. And I zip tied it to that so that it would kind of stand upright and be a little bit taller. And then it had like a little thing when you plugged it in, and it got pretty bright. And you could kind of adjust how bright it was. So if you ever wanted to go see that video, you can see it on the Shelly and Jade channel, how I made that DIY ring light. It was probably around $35 worth of materials. And I was pretty proud of that. Yeah, I was pretty proud of that little invention. And I shot probably, I don't know, y'all, I probably shot like 50, 60, 100 videos with that little DIY ring light. That was our ring light. That was our ring light. Because we didn't have the money / we didn't want to spend it on the Diva ring light. You know? So that's where we were. All right, so let's see. Annie says, bought a Canon M50 off Marketplace for cheap and mint condition. Awesome. And a Rode mic. And yes, so you can totally buy equipment used Facebook Marketplace, because a lot of the people who went out and thought they were going to make YouTube channels and then just didn't, they'll sell their equipment and try and get some money back. You know, Craigslist as well. Just different sites. Also, if you're shopping on Amazon, you can search. A lot of the times they'll say prices from new and used, and it has a separate thing. You can click on it, and some of them are just refurbished items from Amazon or other sellers, and you can sometimes get your items that you're looking for at a discount as well. So absolutely don't think you can't, because especially when it comes to like camera gear, lighting, a lot of people seem to have what we call GAS, which is gear acquisition syndrome. I'm going to make a video on this as well, but it's about thinking you got to have, newer lights, newer camera equipment, newer lenses, newer, better, bigger, everything, right? Newest versions. And what's funny is I don't think I've upgraded my camera in probably a few years. The one that is on my list is that Sony ZV-1, but it's so easy to get wrapped up in it, and right? And you see a lot of people in Facebook groups and whatnot talking about the equipment that they have or the new piece of, computer hardware that they just got, just like everyone who's going crazy about the M1 iMacs and the M1 iPads and all of the M1 like minis and just everything that people think that they need to create a YouTube channel, when sometimes it's not even true. And when you have gas, sometimes you're trying to make some money back on stuff so that you can also go out and buy new gear. It's just something that happens. So you can usually maybe get a good deal in picking up some of that equipment from those places. So don't think it's weird to go to a pawn shop or look for used lenses or, stuff like that, because it's very, very common that you're going to be able to find something and get it at a better price. So if you have, like we have a Glazer's, which is a local camera shop here in the area in Seattle, or, if you have something like that, you may want to take a peek at that. All right. So happy Sunday at Dole Whip Dad from the Cooking Common Babe. Hey, it's good to see you, Josh. How are you doing? Congrats to you for getting done with all of your rounds, getting that new barbecue smoker. How's that working out for you? That seemed like a really nice present. So, and hello to Tamika. If you didn't see it, there was a Google form that I put in the chat. I believe I pinned it. It's also in the description box of this video. It is a form, so if you want to ask any questions, get your question answered, submit it so I can see and we can answer your questions. Okay, so I believe that we've gotten through most of the ones that were in the community tab on YouTube. I'm going to take a quick peek for the ones that were on Instagram from when I posted this a while back. So let me do that. Sorry for all of those who could hear it. The microphone, what can I say? You hear the audio when I'm drinking. Okay. I'm looking. Let's see. I think this was, do you have any questions? Okay. If we are starting a channel, should we look at analytics or just create? Okay. It's a good question. And I would say, if you are just starting a channel, right, and I've talked about this ad nauseum so many times where I say you can go one of two routes. One is you can just create a crap ton of content and you can just kind of have fun, throw some spaghetti at the wall, as we like to say, and just see if anything takes off, see if you just enjoy making one type of content over another. That's one thing that you can do. The second one is you can go in with a very specific game plan. Very niche, very, topic oriented, very heavy in search results. So one is more of a very strategic move, and the other is more of a fun-based type of approach, and both are fine. And but I will say that when you're in the beginning, while it is good to look at analytics only count when you have a significant amount of data. So if the data is not enough to create what we'd like to call statistical significance, then it could actually be harming you to be looking at it, because if you have no other data, if you only have 2 videos on your channel, and one is about a barbacoa pork taco, right, Josh? And the other one is about the family vacation vlog in Mexico, okay? And one has 100 views and the other has 200 views. If that is the only data you're looking at and the only data that you have in your entire arsenal, you're going to be like, well, I guess, I'm just meant to be a vlogger. And that doesn't necessarily make it true, okay? So I would caution from leaning too heavily into the analytics until you have more videos, so you could also then be like, well, my click-through rate on the video with the tacos is, 15%, but my click-through rate for the one about the vlog in Mexico has a click-through rate of 2%, right? So you're like, oh, obviously then the tacos, that's the way to go. And then you're flip-flopping from one piece of data and what it's telling you to the second piece of data and what it's telling you. So, but the thing is, and I always caution people as well, click-through rate is a multi-pronged and faceted equation, okay? You can't just look at a percentage because it is one half of the equation. Click-through rate with the number of impressions. So if your thumbnail with the tacos is only shown to 10 people, okay, it may or may not have a higher one than one that has been impressed upon 1 million people, because 1.5% of 1 million people is going to be far more clicks than the the 10 people it was shown the tacos to, and 1.5 people clicked, or whatever the percentage was I was saying. So again, people get all into their heads about what some numbers mean, and if you do not have enough data to have statistical significance, then you can't really form an opinion / action plan from that. Even if you were to do a thumbnail A/B test in TubeBuddy, they'll say we need 2 weeks worth of data to keep showing this to different people in different times, at different conditions, and only then do we think we would have enough data to show a statistical significant answer. So you have to collect enough data over enough time to be able to answer that question. So I would say when you're first beginning, your very first video, I would not be looking at analytics. Your first 2 videos, I would not be looking at analytics. Like, it's going to take a little bit of time. Okay? Okay, so hopefully there's a good answer there for you. All right. Hello to the Real Flame as well. Let's see, was there another question over here? This question is, how are you today? I'm doing great. Thank you. Good question. Good question. Okay. All right, now I'm going to go in and I'm going to check the Google form. If anyone has left any responses in the Google form. Let's see, I'm looking. What is my latest YouTube edition like? Is it well organized? Do the thumbnails look good? No, we're not going to look at that one. I have been making videos for 1.5 years and I still haven't reached 1,000 subs. What is wrong? What do I need to do to improve? Okay. If you've been making videos for 1.5 years, so it could be 1.5 years since your very first upload, but if it's, one video and then a 3-month break, and then one video and then a 2-month break, and then 3 videos in the same week, and then a 4-month break, that is not enough information / data to be able to necessarily help with the answer. But so as much as I said before, don't go all in on your analytics. If you have 1.5 years worth of data, this might actually be a time to start looking in your analytics. Are you making videos that are wildly variant from each other? Is it one week a travel vlog to Mexico, and then the next week how to do slow braised beef ribs in a slow cooker or something like that? And then the next one is going to be like how to change the oil in your car. Okay. If you have videos like that, just because I'm not going to stream Dark Souls 3 ever. So, if you have videos that are wildly variant on topic, that could be affecting people and wanting to subscribe. I just had a consultation with someone 2 days ago, and they said, and I asked them, like, what is your genre? What's your niche? What are you kind of known for? What do you want to be known for? And he said, well, I unbox and review things. And I'm like, great, what kind of things? And he said, well, just, it could be anything. And I was like, okay. And he also is trying to reach 1,000 subscribers, I believe, so that he can get to monetization. And I said, okay, well, here is the deal. A lot of the time when you're creating reviews, and let's say you don't have a huge audience yet, what people are coming for in the video is not you yet. It is about the thing that you're reviewing and unboxing, because that... Okay. Wait a second here. One second, guys. Hey, Adam. I don't know what that's about, but we're not putting up with that. Okay, so he said that if one of your videos is about a mattress, and then the next video is about a blender, and then the next video is about a weighted jump rope, and these were all true examples, he said it's probably not the case that the person who came to you about the blender was already a subscriber of yours and just interested in what you were putting out. It was probably someone who was looking for information about that particular blender because they might be trying to make a buying decision about it. Okay, if let's say that person was like, I really like this channel and the way that you present information, and I think I'm going to subscribe to it, would that same subscriber be interested in next week in your weighted jump rope review? Maybe, maybe not, because maybe they're buying a blender because they're making protein smoothies, so it might be someone who's into working out, and a weighted jump rope might be interesting. Okay. What if the next week they come back, your next review is again not about the blender, not about the weighted jump rope, but it's about the mattress? What are the chances and likelihood that that same person who subscribed for the blender review is still going to be sticking with you through these others? Like, they may have given you another chance with the weighted jump rope because it might have been tangentially kind of related, but if the mattress thing kind of like throws them off, it's probably not the case that they were looking or asking for that kind of content, and they probably aren't going to stay subscribed. So even in something like that, when you say you sold mattresses for 10 months, terrible job. Oh no, you have to tell us why it was so terrible. But I was like, for something like that, especially if you have a smaller audience, it's probably that they're not coming for you and your personality in the review. And I'm not trying to sound harsh, but like when you get to the size of like a Marques Brownlee, right? People are interested in what he has to say in kind of no matter what he's reviewing. If it's retro tech, if it's the latest Apple iPhone, if it's his thoughts on the new M1 Max, if it's something, about editing or something like that, they're probably interested in him because he has an audience large enough that has been with him for years and years and years to care about him and his personality and all those things, right? But even so, a lot of his audience may see, oh, this is something about some Samsung phone and I don't care about that, so I'm not going to watch it, right? So then you also run the risk of having a whole bunch of content on your channel that people either aren't subscribing for or aren't interested in. But I was saying in his case, I don't believe it's probably the case that he's going to quickly reach 1,000 by doing randomized reviews of different things. I'm like, unless the name of your series is, Blink Tries Something, which could be then a series where it's like, you gave me this idea and I tried it. And so people are tuning in to the adventure of, is he going to do this thing? Does he like this thing? Are you going to eat this thing? And that's more of when you have a personality-based channel that people are accustomed to you. And I was like, I don't think you're there quite yet, because another thing is we're trying to get to a point where we can get him to have enough money that you can quit your job. And I'm like, you're also going to have a hard time, let's say, even getting sponsors when it's randomized content on your channel as well. So just things to keep in mind as well. So keeping in mind all of those things, when you are making content and it is perhaps wildly variant, it is perhaps not put out in a consistent and timely manner, if it's if you and your videos are, let's say, a little bit more boring, and I'm not saying that you are boring, but I'm saying that your video is boring because you leave in lots of pauses, you have no editing ever that you do, maybe people don't enjoy watching someone drone on for 30 minutes when all they really wanted was, like a 2-minute video on something. Because you guys know it too, when you're trying to learn something, it's usually not, let me pick the longest video that I can to watch it, and maybe you think, oh, if I just keep making longer videos, my watch time is going to go up. So there could be a lot in there. Maybe the on-screen presence isn't super strong, and maybe it's something that you need to work on with camera presence, or, there's just a lot that can go into that question when you say, I don't have 1,000 subs and I've been on for, a year. or more. So, says, I would sit there all day because they'd put the newer people in slow stores. It was draw against commission. Many times you'd only see 1 to 2 people, and oh no, half the time, and they were pick something up or weren't ready to buy. Yeah, I could see that. And mattress is definitely difficult because a lot of the time it's not something that someone purchases and then you see them again right away unless they're returning it, because like a lot of the time people use and have the same mattress for 10, 15, 20 years. I mean, you should probably replace them more often than that, but you know what I mean? It's not like a purchase that people go out and get a new one of every year or 2. So, okay. So, I'm going to come through here and keep looking. And go back here. Do you think that you should have a trailer video? Okay, so this is a good question. So if you guys don't know what like a channel trailer is, when you go to someone's channel page for the first time, if you're someone who is not subscribed to that channel, they can choose to select a video that plays automatically when you first visit their page. Some people will have a 30 to 60 second video that's just a short, like, hey, welcome to my channel, this is what the kind of videos you could expect type of thing is. And then you can also select a different video for people who are already subscribers to your channel. This is under your channel customizations and settings. So the thought is you can go a couple different ways. 1, you can have the channel trailer, or 2, you could go with something that is like your most popular, and then there's a third prong in there where you can go with the video that your analytics show you converts the most subscribers. Now the caveat with that is if it is about what your channel is about, right? So I have a video on my channel that has sold me the most when it comes to affiliate sales. The most units of anything I've ever sold with affiliate sales is when I did a video about repairing Louboutin red bottom shoes with an acrylic paint that I got off of Amazon. And it was a 3-minute video. It was shot on my iPad. And I don't know why, but people really enjoyed that video. They watched that video and they bought the red paint from Amazon. Now, I could say, well, this video drove the most when it came to affiliate sales. It's 3 minutes. I could put it there and it would be then watched by anyone new who comes to my channel. But since my channel is not about DIY or shoe repair, that may not be the best representative video from my channel to put in that spot, right? If I did have a DIY repair channel or shoe channel, that would be an excellent maybe video to put there because it's short and apparently it's interesting to people and it also drives conversions. Maybe it doesn't drive subscribers, but whatever, you see what I'm saying with that. The next thing is you could go with something that is the most highly watched video. So I have a beauty channel where I will do declutters, get ready with me's, beauty box subscription unboxing, stuff like that. And I had a eyeshadow palette makeup declutter video, that's a mouthful, that got, let's say, 10,000 views. And most of the time my stuff on that channel gets like 20 views. It's not a channel that I'm running for a whole bunch of money. It's just for fun. So I can literally talk about the stuff that I get every month sent to my house. And so the thing with that is that video, that eyeshadow palette makeup declutter, is 55 minutes long. But it is the most popular video on my channel. Could that be a video that I put up as something for people visiting my channel? It could be, because it has driven a lot of subscribers and it is popular. But if you went to someone's channel and the first video they showed you was a 55-minute video of something, unless you're very interested in that subject, that could turn off a lot of people and you'd be like, whoa, Susie. I'm not it's like going on a first date and then being like, so we gonna go to the little white chapel or no? We gonna like make this thing official? And you're like, whoa, we haven't even spent 5 minutes together and now you're asking me for like forever. It's kind of one of those where you're like, maybe that's not your best video that you throw forward with people. And so maybe that's not the best example then of a video to put there. So do I believe that you should have a channel trailer? Yes, I do. I do believe if you're going to do that for someone who is newer to your channel, it should be between 30 and 60 seconds, right? So what to put in a channel trailer, especially if it's your first video, okay? So when you're first getting started, you might just introduce people to you and say, hey everyone, my name is Shelly, and on this channel, I'm going to be talking to you about video editing, live streaming, and how to do YouTube. You know, and you'll see a new video every week, and I hope that if you're interested in those things, you hang out with us every Sunday at 7 a.m. PST, right? That could be your entire video. That could be your entire channel trailer. It could also be then a year from now, you update that channel trailer and you say, hey everyone, welcome to my channel. If you're into things like DIY shoe repair, or you know, and you start listing some of your more popular videos, and do not come into my live stream and then start asking people to subscribe to your channel. You're in a timeout. We're going to talk about that in a second, about do's and don'ts of live streams and comment section and stuff as well. Okay, so that just really irritates me. That just really irritates me. And we're gonna have a whole discussion about you, Merrick's LV. I shouldn't even say your name. So in the year from now, thank you, buddy, good shake. You can update your channel trailer to have and include clips of your most popular videos or topics that you're just really excited about making. And you can say, if you're interested in these type of topics, you can expect videos like this, and maybe you have like a quick little montage or clips of videos that are your most popular or whatever, and you still keep it to under 60 seconds and you use that as your channel trailer, okay? For your video for returning people, then you can go in there and choose something else, okay? And like I said, it can be the one that drives the most subscribers. It could be the one that is just the most popular. It could be the one that drives the most conversions. So just things to keep in mind there. Okay. iMovie on iPad. What is your, I don't understand what the question is about iMovie on iPad. And also, if you guys didn't see it, there is a pinned chat message, and that is where you can go to submit any questions that you want to ask, because I'm going to be pulling from there and not necessarily from the chat, because I'm doing them in the order in which they're asked and I don't want to miss anything. So insert appropriate read the room comment. Hey Charles, how's it going? Good to see ya. And here's the thing, is like, it's not that I'm so pissed that someone comes into a live stream and like, like, I don't even know this person. That's not the thing. So I'm not personally mad at that person, but I am personally mad at that person because I'm going to tell you about some of the live streaming etiquette and just like comment etiquette, right? Just like you don't go to New York. I've used this example so many times, but it still rings true. You do not go to New York Fashion Week and see, you know, Vera Wang show up in the audience at Michael Kors fashion show and be like, hey y'all, come check out my fashion show. I make clothes too. Like, what? Like, no. No. That's rude. First of all, don't do that. That's not appropriate. And that will get you booted out of a lot of places. So do not come into someone else's audience, you know, where they, like, I know Charles and I know Adam and I know, but we don't know you. So do not come into someone else's live stream or comment section with people that you don't know, trying to like scoop and steal an audience from a group. Like, I don't know who you are. I haven't seen you. It's one thing if I decide like, hey everyone, go check out Adam's exploits because Adam is my friend, right? Yeah, that's definitely not how Vera Wing talks, I'll tell you that. You know, it's one thing if I say, hey, everyone go check out Charles Smith, because you don't, well, one, you don't know what, you know, how many times I've seen him in chat or whatever. That's my choice to make. But you don't come into my live stream and then be like, hey guys, pay attention to me, pay attention to me, pay attention to me. And I'd be like, I'll pay attention to you right out of here. Like, that's rude. It's so rude. So most of the time, if you were to come into my comment section, not in a live stream, but on the comment section, just so you know, things like check out my channel, sub for sub, support for support. The new one is hug for hug, which is just weird. You know, I'm like, read the room. I don't like hugs anyway. But all of that stuff, you would already be in my blocked words section. So no, don't do it. It's rude. It is rude. Okay. If you have a question, make sure you put it in the Google form. That is where I'm pulling questions from the Google form. All right. So that one was about the trailer videos. And let's see, I have a 15-minute walk from the Met, and there's probably going to be someone that tries that at the next Met Gala, by the way. Happy Sunday. Yeah, happy Sunday. Well, and that's the thing is, most of the time you run onto a runway and you're like, guys, pay attention to me. It's like that streaker at a football game. You might get some attention for a second, but then you get tackled by security guards, banned and booted from the event, and you don't get shown on television, right? Because they usually pan away because they don't want to reward such behavior. They're not rewarding behavior, and neither am I. Nope. Okay, so let me go back to questions. Okay. Improvement in memes. I don't even know what kind of question that is. That doesn't even... Improvement in memes. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. Okay. How do I go viral and get subs? Oh my gosh. I don't think I could eye roll harder at this. Sorry at whoever asked this question. So sometimes you don't really get to plan for what goes viral and what doesn't. So, and I would also counter that with, even if you went viral, what is your next step? You think that the most important thing in your life is to go viral and get a lot of views. What good is that if you're not yet monetized? What good is that if you have nothing to sell people to make money? What good is that if you have nothing to follow it up with in your library? What good is it if it's something that has absolutely nothing to do with the rest of your channel? Like me going viral for Louboutin red bottom painting shoes, when that is not what my channel is about. Why would I want to go viral for that? And why would I want 50,000 subscribers from something that I never plan to do again? Like, no. Okay. How can I rise my watching hours? And how do I make attractive thumbnails? Okay, so for that question, I'm going to say a few things. So the first part is watch hours. Okay. How do you improve watch hours? One thing is playlists, grouping content categories together, and then actually linking to a playlist instead of linking to a specific video, so that hopefully you get that Netflix binge effect and people watch more. Creating series so that people want to come back and actually finish something in a sequential order. That could be something as well. Basically, you can make longer videos. It might work for some people. Your retention might drop off though. The other thing is you can also do live streaming, because live streaming tends to have a longer retention rate than regular recorded videos, because people like to stay, interact, chat, have their name pop up on screen, or be paid attention to. All of that can help as well. Also, linking to other videos inside of your description, inside of your comment section, and leaving it as a pinned comment, inside of your cards, inside of the end screen, trying to get people to keep clicking into more of your own videos, and instead of just a single video, maybe a playlist, right? So a lot of this can help you with increasing watch time. Okay. So the second part was Improving thumbnails. Okay, so one, I would say study a little bit of color theory, because there are certain colors that make you feel certain ways. Just like when you see yellow, orange, and red, usually you get more hungry. That's why like Taco Bell, Burger King, McDonald's all use yellow, oranges, reds, a lot of it. Okay. I would say also staying away from too many fonts, staying away from fonts that are super skinny, scripty, curly cued, pretty when you're looked at, like very, very large, but not very readable when it gets very, very small. Okay. I would say you can also do data that will show, you know, do people like it when your face is in the thumbnail? Do they not like it? Would they rather see different things? And then also taking a look at the thumbnails that are in the same type of genre or niche that you are in. Some of them have very specific things that you're supposed to do, right? A lot of the time in the makeup world, you've got girls making these like shocked faces while they're outlined in white and products are floating all around them in their background. I mean, it's not that hard to kind of figure out what some of the best practices are when it comes to your specific genre and whatnot. So I would say if you have a title, one thing that you can do is put in the title and then see what your video looks like, or your compared to the others that are ranking well. Okay. All right. Okay, so this one, how do you use an external mic for iMovie with iPad? Thank you, WTA Ballers, for actually putting it in the Google form. I appreciate you for listening. All right, so that is a good question. If your iPad, it also depends, is it Lightning or is it USB-C? Because like the iPad Pros, a lot of the new ones now are USB-C, right? Instead of the Lightning one. And then a lot of the iPhone, or like the older ones, had Lightning. So almost. If you have an iPad that is Lightning, you can use a mic like this, which is this. Hi, baby. Hi. Okay. Here we go. And we have a visitor. Say hello. Hello. My name is Casey. Thank you, honey. That was excellent. I'm going to put you right here. If you have a iPad like this, or an iPhone that has a Lightning plug at the bottom, you can use something like this, which is going to be the Shure MV88, and this is going to plug directly into the bottom of your device. Then you'll have the Shure Motive app that you can use to change if it's cardioid or if it's stereo. You can change the angle in which that it is like capturing. That can be a really good option there. If you have, oh, it's just out of reach. Hi, baby. Hold on one sec. Can I pick you up? Hold on. We gotta reach. Almost. Everything's just out of reach. Okay, we're gonna do it. It's okay. If you have, a device that is going to be USB-C, you can go with this guy, which is the Shure MV88 Plus, which is the upgraded version from the last one I just showed. But basically the nice thing about this, it has a 3.5mm plug on the back for audio monitoring. It has the micro USB cable here, and then it has 3 different cables that it comes with, one of which is the micro USB to USB-C for that iPad Pro. One of them is going to be micro USB to Lightning, which is going to be like for your iPhone. One is micro USB to USB-A, which is so you can also use this on your computer. So depending on your mic as well, you can even use something like the Blue Yeti, and there's a different dongle life. It will go USB-C to a USB-A connection, and you can also use a mic like that. So that dongle is going to cost you, I don't know, $10-15. And then you could also, the Shure MV51 also, same type of thing, and it looks like that cardioid old school mic, and it also has a varietal of cables that you can use for all of your different devices. So there's tons of ways that you can use an external mic. Some mics, they're all going to be drawing power from the iPad itself. So you may want to have some sort of dongle that also is a pass-through type of thing. So you can still also have power as well, especially if you have like the smart keypad, like the Apple keypad one, right? The smart key, not the keyboard folio, but the other one, right? So that's how you can do that. All right. Do you need a specific niche for lifestyle channels? I started with curly hair videos, but now I am travel, vlogs, and anything else I want to share. Okay, so that is a good question. So the deal with that, Ashley Dominique, it looks like, right? You don't have to listen to any single damn person on the internet. If you want to make videos about curly hair, vlogs, and anything else you want to share, you can certainly do so, because you're going down the path of content that makes me happy and is a variety channel. However, that being said, most of the time with a variety channel, okay, you are going to usually grow slower. And if that's okay with you, then that's okay with anybody else, you know? Because if you think about this though, once you get into vlogs and anything else you want to share, you're trying to convert yourself from something that's more of a search-driven channel, which is, you know, how do I do this thing in iMovie? How do I paint these shoes and repair them? How do I hook up a microphone to my iPad? So those are technology, but those are search-based videos, search-based questions, right? And you want to become a vlog / travel channel, right? So you want people to be interested when you go to Thailand, as well as when you go to Mexico, as when anywhere else. Those are going to be driven specific vlog trips. If you're putting the place where you're going, that might be driven by the person who's thinking about traveling to that place. The rest of your video views, though, are going to be coming from people who are subscribed to you and like you for your personality. Okay. And so that's going to be a slower growth trail than, you know, places to see when you visit Puerto Vallarta, and best vacation rental homes in Puerto Vallarta, and the best beaches in Puerto, you know, where I'm saying like you do 15 videos or whatever, all about Mexico or all about a specific city or something like that. So that's just going to be, hi baby, different. It's going to be a slower roll for you to be like, oh, I really care what Ashley is up to by going to Mexico, and now I want to see what her and her significant other are doing when they go to somewhere else. So you don't have to have a specific niche, but when you have a specific niche, you're a lot easier to sell to, let's say, advertisers, sell to an audience, sell to, you know what I'm saying? Like, people will know what to expect with your channel. And so that's why also, if you think about this, vlog channels from bigger mainstream people, Laura DIY, Ashley Marie, or Alicia Marie, Remy Cruz, almost all of their vlog channels have significantly lower traffic and subscribers than their main channel videos, because there is a smaller group of people that care so much about these people and their lives that they want to tune in to all of the behind the scenes stuff and all of their vlog, lifey, day in the life stuff. So you have to think too, if people don't know who you are and you're trying to be a personality based channel, which is usually the case with vlogs, if people don't know who you are or give a crap about you, it's really hard to grow in that type of niche, because you're assuming that people care about you as a person. And I'm not saying anything against you. I'm just saying it is harder for a vlog channel because you have to be sometimes emotionally invested in the people that you're watching on screen. So just keep that in mind. Do you have to have a specific niche? No. Are you going to grow slower usually when you have no niche? Yes. So I hope that helps answer that question. Let's see here. I like my Blue Yeti a lot. The only issue I have is it picks up on my keyboard and mouse clicks. Yeah, way down the road. I'll get an XLR mic with a mixer. Yeah. Are you also using it on one thing, if you have it kind of a little bit closer to your mouth and you're doing XLR, so it's hopefully picking up stuff this way at you. If your keyboard and stuff is a lot lower, you might be able to reduce some of that. But yeah, it's hard on some of those because a lot of the time it's going to pick up a lot of that other noise. And especially if you can get it up off of, is it on an arm? Because I also noticed on any mic that I've had, when I had it on a stand that was resting on my computer, and you see it in some of my earlier tutorials and stuff, before I got the mic up on an arm and off, you could definitely absolutely hear all of my typing. Yeah, it picks up a lot of that. Okay, so yeah, another one. It says, speaking of thumbnails, what are your thoughts on including pictures of you and your guests in a thumbnail? Also, your thoughts on hashtags and tags for YouTube videos. Okay, I stream from my dining room table using the built-in mic stand. Yeah, I bet you would have reduced interference or pickup from the keyboard if you get it on even, these little $15 arms. You hook it to the table and then have it suspended up in the air. It would probably reduce it as well. All right, so you said thoughts on including pictures of yourself and guests in thumbnails. I think it's a good idea. Hi. Okay, good job. She just had to decide where she wanted to lay down and which direction she wanted to face. So, because I think if there's also a picture of your guest, they might be a little bit more apt to share it on their social media as well. And that's one of the things that you're trying to do, is also tap into maybe their audience and recognition of that person as well. So I think it's a good idea generally, if you're having a guest, an interview, anything like that, I think you should have the person that you're interviewing on the thumbnail. So yes, I would highly encourage you to do that. Sometimes I'll do just the guest. Sometimes I'll do myself and the guest, but definitely always include your guest, I would say. Thoughts on hashtags and tags for YouTube videos. Okay, so thoughts on it, use them. I have noticed that I know it used to be the case where, it shows the first 3 hashtags that are embedded in your description across the top along with your title. One note there is, if you're someone who includes like a PO box or something like that in your address line, you really want to make sure that the hashtags are above or below that, or you like change it from a hashtag, from that number symbol to like NO or number or unit number, and you don't include that. Otherwise, that will show up in your hashtags at the top and it will look kind of funky. So that's one thing right there. So make sure that it's not in your first 3. Also, I've noticed that usually it's either or when it comes to location or hashtags. So depending on if you want to, say San Diego versus, Adam's exploits blank and then the other. One of the reasons I prefer hashtags is because then you have 3 different opportunities to be on these different landing pages, right? So now they've updated where if you click on a particular hashtag, it is going to take you to basically a landing page for tons of videos all using that same hashtag. And I would prefer it where you have the opportunity to be on 3 different landing pages that are all, related to a specific hashtag, than using just the location, because you can imagine how many are using Los Angeles, San Diego. So unless you're in some place where you think no one else is using it and a lot of people are looking for it, those 2 things right there, then I would traditionally stick with the hashtags versus the location, because usually I have seen it's one or the other. So generic hashtags. Well, I don't like to use generic hashtags. I use ones, so I use like Shelly Saves a Day, Seattle YouTube, and then I might use one depending on like if it's BoxyCharm or if it's Ipsy or Declutter or so something like that. Like it can't just be generic in the fact that, like, kind of like on Instagram as well. Generic is not the best because you'll be lost in a sea of people using the same hashtags, but something that is a little bit maybe a little smaller, but a little bit definitely specific about what your video is about. So one, I like to have one with my own name anyway, because I want to see like a grouping of my stuff. But also if it's something like BoxyCharm Premium, like that's pretty specific, but there's still a lot of people who are clicking and looking at that hashtag. So, but if you just did something like YouTuber, that's not a good hashtag, you know? That's not a good one. But, and then tags. So I know that YouTube came out and said like tags are not as important as they used to be, right? They're not, as heavily weighted as part of the entire package. But I think people then took that and ran with it as they don't matter at all. And while I agree that people should not be making themselves crazy or crying with trying to do research, trying to get to a specific type of search pool or, you know, volume or score in TubeBuddy or color or whatever else it is in some of these other programs. I don't believe in that and making yourself crazy. But I do believe that if it's something that could be commonly misspelled, if it's something that is going to be a search phrase that people would use to find your video, if it helps a 0.1%, why would you not do it? Like, why not? Also, like, if it mattered absolutely zero, then YouTube would just eliminate it. You know, they would just take it away and be like, you know, yeah, you don't need these anymore. Let's just take it away. But if you're using and programming for the bots and crawlers and things, and you've got something maybe commonly misspelled, but, you know, just a different way that people search the phrase or something like that, why not use it? Why would you not? I'm sorry, you don't want a couple of extra eyeballs. You don't want to be a little bit higher up, maybe in a search result. Like, come on now. Like, yeah, it may not matter as much. So yeah, don't spend 5 hours on your research, but it doesn't mean don't do it at all. So, and then not only that though, like, it doesn't matter what your tags are, like amazing tags are never going to save like a shitty video, you know? So if your video is just not good, all the best tags in the world are not going to help you with that, but just as an FYI. Okay, so let me see what you got here. You've got, thanks for taking my question, but the iMovie on iPad 8th generation doesn't recognize any external mic. Is mic possible with iMovie? Yes. Yes. I mean, sometimes it doesn't look like it's working, but yes. I mean, and not only that though, if you had something like the Shure MV88 or 88 Plus or something like that, if all you're doing is a voiceover, then just use the mic, record a voice note, and import that WAV file as your audio for your voiceover. Yeah. I mean, yes, it should be fine. Even if you don't do it inside of iMovie, just record it as a voice note and import it as an audio source. I have a friend of mine, it converts my thumbnails into an IG post and I use that as well. Yeah, awesome. And I think that it's really easy if you use things like PicMonkey, Canva. They have these auto resizing type features where you can take a thumbnail, rearrange some of the contents, turn it on its side, you know, make a 1080 by 1350, which is that 4:5, put that as an Instagram post, put it as a Pinterest pin, really easy ways to repurpose and use it as basically your cover if you're doing an IGTV, any of that stuff. So absolutely. Also, if you guys didn't see it, we're accepting questions for a bit inside of the Google form that is in the description and pinned in the chat. So if you want a question answered, enter it in the Google form. Okay? All right. Supposedly it's not good to use generic hashtags. Seems a little controversial. Well, again, yeah, I'm going to say depends whatever the generic hashtag you're using. Yeah, I don't think that's probably a great idea. I do reselling. Maybe I don't use eBay seller or hashtag reselling. Oh. Well, here's the thing is how many people are looking for hashtag eBay seller? it might be like other eBay sellers, not necessarily people who were looking to, you know, maybe it's like, maybe that, I don't think your audience is other eBay sellers, right? It's people who want to buy whatever you're selling on eBay, right? So maybe eBay seller isn't the right one unless you're doing education for eBay sellers. Maybe it's the thing that you're selling, like Pokemon cards or, you know, something like that. So maybe it's something kind of like that. I'm not sure. Wait a second. Wait. What's going on here? The running fish. 3 strikes? Wait, if you had 3 strikes, your channel would be terminated. So I'm not sure. Copyright claims, because those are different than strikes. So I don't know. I don't know. You're gonna have to tell me more about that. Like, what is it that they're saying that you're doing? Oh, it's for other eBay sellers. Hey, Christina. Yo. How you doing? I don't know, Running Fish. You're gonna have to give me more info. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Christina, happy Sunday. No URL. No URL. What does that mean? Let's see here. I send you a screenshot later. Let's see here. I don't know how it counts. I don't know either, because strikes are a big deal, and to get 3 in 12 hours, they usually also would have to give you a reason, like reused content, or infringement on someone else's. Like, hey, flash in your pan, nice to see you. So it's weird, because usually if you had 3 actual strikes, you wouldn't have a channel, so you wouldn't even be commenting right now. So I'm not sure what you mean there. Other eBay sellers. Well, you know what? Honestly, I don't know. If you're actually educating other eBay sellers, then I don't know why that would be such a huge problem. Let's go look at youtube.com and then hashtag eBay reseller. So there's 3.8 thousand videos from 369 channels. I don't see why that would be controversial. And I'm closing my eBay store. I tried thrifting to resell on eBay. I mean, I don't. Aw, Nikki Beauty Buys. Hello. Aw, that's my friend. That's my friend. I would say if it actually makes sense with what you're doing, then I don't think that's controversial at all. I think that that's the correct usage of hashtags, because you're on the landing page and it looks like all the other people who are making videos are also trying to either sell things or educate people who are selling things. So I don't really think that that's controversial. So I don't think that's bad. Okay. Flash in your pan. Where are you located? Where are you at? All right, like I said, if you guys have other questions, I'm gonna take another pass through the Google form that is there. Let's see here. Ohio. Got it. Okay. I think Scott Peachy, also in Ohio. Is that correct? I believe Scott Peachy is also in Ohio. So do I need to feature my face, even if it's just DIYs? Okay. Oh no, my videos do great for a few days. They rank and then they fall off. What are your tips for keeping a video going? Okay, so here's the thing, y'all. And some people sell entire courses on this, and I think it's a bit disingenuous. And this is just you and I talking here. We're friends here, right? There are people who sell entire programs that are based on helping you rank your videos, and they're more than happy to have people do screenshots where you've got ranking tags, which are what we were talking about with the 500 characters down below, and should you use them, are they important, all that stuff. And so people, usually when you release a new video, you will get this like bump for newness in the algorithm because YouTube hasn't yet decided how your video is doing, right? Sometimes they're like, oh, it's new and this is a tag that has been used, and so they might bump you up for a little while, but then it also depends on how well your video performs. Now that's retention, it's click-through rate, that's viewer behavior, right? And if it's part of the view velocity. If in that first 48 hours your video is doing fantastic, getting a lot of traffic, then you're going to stay sometimes ranking, right? And you may fall, but because as the newness tag wears off. But if your video is doing well in all those types of categories, click-through rate, view velocity, average view duration, your video will remain ranking. What happens more often than not is someone does something very specific with a very long tag like BoxyCharm Premium April 2021 unboxing, and that's one tag right there, right? And so the first 48 hours you're like, whoa, I'm ranking in the top 10 or whatever, and you see green all over and you're like, look at me with my screenshot and I'm ranking, and then a week later you go back and it's not ranking anymore. Well, one, there's also, if you're looking at your own results in while you're logged in and you are searching the exact same phrase that your title is, then there's a very good likelihood that your video should be showing up towards the top of those search results, right? Because it takes into account your view history and all that stuff, and the fact that you're looking for that exact same title, all of that stuff, right? So if you log out and you're in incognito mode, which means YouTube doesn't have any browser history on you, they don't know what kind of videos you watch, and then you go and you put in that exact same search phrase, you're gonna sometimes have a truer understanding of where you might actually be ranked. And you're like, I'm not anywhere. Well, yeah, because you were logged in before, right? And they don't tell you that as well. Like, log out, be in incognito. That's why I do appreciate TubeBuddy being in like unweighted, weighted, which is you and your history versus not, and then also like incognito results or not, because a lot of these companies and programs they're not telling you like, oh yeah, they're not telling you 5 weeks later go back and check the tag. They're like, go take a screenshot of it in the first 48 hours when you should be ranking. But I'm just spilling all the tea, you guys. I'm feeling saucy. That's just kind of bullshit. But anyways, it is very, very common that you will rank when you're also logged in under yourself, searching for the first 48 hours, and then, whoa, lo and behold, 2 weeks later, incognito or not, you're no longer ranking. So that being said, sometimes it is going to do with the quality of your video. So if you want, it might be that you're ranked lower because your click-through rate on your video is not good. So you could try and change out your thumbnail, right? That's one thing right there. It could be that your ranking drops because the people who, got into it, got a clickbait title, got a really great thumbnail, came into the video and decided that your video is not good at all, and they dropped off real, real fast. And the last thing YouTube wants to do is start promoting and ranking videos that the behavior from viewers is very obvious that they don't like this video, okay? So you may just plummet with something like that as well. So it could be then if your average view duration is not good, then there's something right there. Also, it could be if your view velocity, right, the views that you get in the first 48, if it's not good, then they're like, people don't really care about this video. They're not getting new views on it. Then it's like, maybe I should just choose a different video. So it's really going to come down to make a better video, have a better title, and have a better thumbnail, and get people to watch throughout the video. So that's kind of how that works. But yeah, in the first 2 weeks or, week when you're ranking and then all of a sudden you're not ranking anymore, it doesn't mean anything. Think about that. Like, how many new videos about BoxyCharm Premium for April are coming out when, and how are they doing in their view velocity versus yours? How are they doing in their click-through rate versus yours? Just all that stuff. So don't sweat it if that is kind of the thing, because it's very, very common. Okay. Let's check in here. It says, pick one YouTube guru. Yeah. And I did an entire rant on this, about picking too many people. With a lot of them have sometimes competing advice, and everyone has opinions. So sometimes you can't also be mad at one guru and be like, your method sucks, your program sucks. It's like, well, Susie Q, you were doing 2 parts of my program and 2 parts of Roberto's program and 2 parts of whatever. And just like I said before, I'm like, you can't do 10 things quarter acidly. Whatever you do, you got to do it with your whole ass. Whole acidly. It was hashtag shirtable. We're putting it on a shirt at some point. Whatever you do it with your whole ass. And you'll know. If you know, you know. If you were there. Okay? All right. I have 2 questions. One is with iMovie, how to make your video fast forward more than the speeds that are in iMovie. Okay, so that's the first one. So yes, iMovie is going to have speed limitations on how fast you can fast forward. So if it is just a particular clip, what I would do is take the smallest amount of the clip that you need, have a new project with that, fast forward as much as possible, export it, then bring that exported video, that finished video, into a new iMovie project, and then you use that clip and fast forward it again. And that's how you do it. It's a multi-pass, multi-exporting type of thing. So take 2 passes at it, and you do that until you get to the speed that you need. That's the answer on that. Hopefully that helps. That makes sense, right? So if you know that it's this little clip, whatever it is, do that. Do the clip that you need to be fast forwarded. Do it as a video project, fast forward it, export it, bring it back into iMovie, and then fast forward it again. And you do that as many times as you need to do until you get to the speed that you need it to be at. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Give me a thumbs up if that made sense to you. I think that was from Evelyn. So hopefully that helps, Evelyn. Alrighty, this says, I wish TubeBuddy would add more features to the lower priced plans. I bought the $50 for life plan. That's a good plan. I'd like to be able to use A/B testing. Yeah, A/B testing is really handy to have. Yep, it's handy. I know that, I don't know how it would work with if you already have a $50 license for the other one. I have a 14-day trial of any version, which includes the legend version if you wanted to run it long enough to do an A/B thumbnail test. And then I don't know if you cancel it and go back to the other plan, if it would work. I don't know how that works with when you already have like a lifetime type license plan versus just downgrading and what that would look like. But you give it a shot or ask them. I'm not sure. You give it a shot though. What is this? I was behind a little, but I have 10,000 opinions. Just ask me. Same, girl. Same. And if you guys, so Christina is in here. She is my friend. If you, haven't checked out the interview that I did with her from Thursday, please go watch it. It was so much fun. I had so much fun. And we got to dance and boogie and answer questions about YouTube. And it was a great, fun time. So go watch that one. And it is, it's the Triple T Thursday from just this last week. So it should be in the last couple videos that were just up. All right, so the second part was, how do I put a song in your intro and not get copyrighted? Is there a time limit to make the song? Okay, first of all, if you don't own the rights to a song, don't use it. And I don't care for the, well, this person uses this song. Okay, there could be a lot going on there. So Remy Ashton had a song, if you guys remember, it was like the beginning of her vlog intros. It was like, I'm on vacation tonight. Okay, and so it was kind of synonymous with her vlog intro. And what people don't know is it was a copyrighted song, and she paid a licensing fee to the company, the band, all of that stuff, to be able to use that very short snippet from the song and have it be her intro for her vlogs. So she paid them, I don't know what sum of money, but a sum of money that they both agreed upon. And then one of the reasons why she ended up changing her intro, and she talks about this in her vlogs, is they were coming up on a renewal and it was either going to be too expensive or she just figured like, I'm ready to move on from this song. So that is one way right there to use a copyrighted song, is to use a management company or something to basically negotiate rights with an artist slash record company, because they're usually the ones who own the rights to the song, to negotiate a licensing agreement. They're not going to copyright your song, copyright strike you. That's one thing right there. The other thing is you can use a service like Licked, which is kind of like a very similar thing. And if you are a TubeBuddy member, I believe that they have a discount for Licked. If you look inside of the membership perks area in TubeBuddy, where you can choose from a few select popular songs, and they will give you a license as well. So very similar to what Remy did probably with that record company, they have it with certain songs. Now I believe though it is a per video license, so you can't use it as an intro in all of your videos. They're talking about like one video, one time, one instance. Otherwise you have to keep paying a license. Okay, so that's another way to do it, is you go with a service like that. Then a third way to do it is you are going to go to a company such as like Audio Hero, Soundstripe, Epidemic Sounds, and basically you pay a membership fee to be part of those companies. You register your YouTube channel with those companies, and then they know as part of the DCMA check that is going to happen that you are subscribed or not subscribed, and they place a hold on your video or they don't, right? So if you're part of Epidemic Sounds and you use one of their sounds, but you're still under a license or agreement with them, then they're not going to copyright strike you or take your ad revenue from that. But that's because you're paying a membership to them. Okay, so there's that as well. Now, Audio Hero as well, which is what I use for music on my live streams. It's music that I've used for my podcast intros, stuff like that. They have a library that is also free if you have a paid level of TubeBuddy. So you can download a certain amount of songs from their library for free every month. I think it's like 10 to 15 songs. So I just download music that I like from them and I toss it in a music folder, and I use that for whatever I want, or, you know, for when I'm live streaming and we want to dance and boogie, all of that stuff, right? So there's lots of different ways to do that. So look into a company like a Soundstripe or a Licked or Audio Hero or Epidemic Sounds, or sometimes you can also get assets from even places like Envato Elements. Sometimes they'll include music. Adobe also has music that is part of their program where you basically purchase credits, and that's also kind of great because you can use it as part of their Adobe Remix, which is the ability to make songs kind of as short as long as you need, because sometimes, you know, you've got like a minute long song but your clip is 3 minutes, and it can use AI to kind of help make the song as long as you need it when you use it and run it through Remix. So there's lots of different ways to do it. There's also built-in music inside of the libraries of like iMovie or Final Cut Pro, and you can also use that music as well and not get a copyright claim. So hopefully that helps. I don't necessarily like to always recommend you go find some YouTube channel that says copyright free music, because you can't actually always believe, and it could be that it was copyright free at one time, it changed hands, and some new management record company is like no longer, and then all of a sudden, you know, all this time later you get a claim later, and that's just not. If you have a problem, let's just say, and I've had a problem once before, you can't go to a company and be like, hey, help me, I just got a claim on this video and they're trying to take all my money, you know, or just I don't want to get a strike. And so you have to be able to prove that you had the license to be able to use this music in your video. And how are you going to do that with some no-name YouTube channel? Be like, hey guys, help me, I got a copyright strike or claim or whatever else it is. Who are you going to reach out to? Like, who's going to help you? Versus go to Epidemic or go to Audio Hero and be like, yo dudes, what's up with this? And they'll be like, oh, I'm sorry, we'll go clear it, right? Because they have all the rights information. They have all of the stuff to be able to help you with a claim, whereas some no-name YouTube channel necessarily does not. Just like I don't recommend always going to some SoundCloud artist who's just remixing like fun DJ things with people's music, because it's not there. It's like, oh, it's my beats because like I'm remixing it, but it's like it's still original works from other people. So you could still run the risk. And you really want to like lose your channel over something like that? No, just don't do it. All right. Okay, so let's see what people are saying. It was a great interview, right? Flash in your pan, you were there. You were there. I've actually only seen like 4 of your iMovie videos, and this randomly popped up in my recommendations. Well, yeah, if you've watched 4 of my videos, then YouTube has data that you like me or you like this channel. And so absolutely, it's going to every once in a while recommend channels that you've interacted with before, or topics you've been looking for. So I'm not surprised. Welcome. Let's see, make it yourself or have it made for you. Yep. And that's another thing. You could contact an artist, let's say, who agrees to give you rights. But here's the thing, is sometimes artists themselves don't have rights. If they're signed with some sort of record company or something like that, technically sometimes it's the record company that holds rights, not the artist. So if you're going to do something like that, and if they're signed to some company, you need to have stuff in writing. You need to be prepared for that. So I was filming at the Bellagio and the fountain show started. I got a warning because the Celine Dion song was playing, and that's silly, but that's the way it is. Absolutely. So they have basically bots that are listening for sounds. They can hear it, background playing when you're shopping at Target or when you're at the Bellagio fountains. And you have the opportunity sometimes to replace the music, sometimes with something inside of YouTube library, and that they'll give you a notice being like, hey, we've noticed this music. Or you can, it's tough. It's tough. All of my music is made for me by my stepson and brother-in-law. That's awesome. Epidemic Sounds. Yep. Harris Heller Stream Beats. Yep. You can also go find independent artists that own the rights to their music and deal with them directly. Absolutely. But again, indie artists that don't have labels. And here's the thing too, is sometimes indie artists can give you permission. Then they get signed to a label. Anything that their music, they may then lose the rights to their own music as well. So that company later, that record company, could come after you even though the artist before said it was okay. So you have to be careful with that as well. I can use any music in my videos and they don't copyright claim it yet. If you're saying if it's just popular music, it could just be a yet. They haven't got you yet. So Sandstripe works the same way with one license. Is it one? I didn't realize it was just one. I thought they also had a monthly thing. Let's see. Absolutely not. It's only a copyright free or if you're paying for licensing. Yep. I don't even look for copyright or not, and it does not copyright it. Oh, okay. No, you're saying any music. I'm saying then just because you haven't gotten caught yet doesn't mean you won't. Okay. I guess I should not say it all, but a good majority of it is I do YouTube audio library also. Yeah, YouTube audio library. I forgot to mention that as well. There is, and also take a look, because sometimes in the YouTube library, it'll say like, you need to put something in the description box, like some sort of attribution. So, like this one is by this person, and you just from the music library. So you need to look, because sometimes it'll say, please put this in the description box. So they are looking for that. Great info as always. Oh, thanks, Dole Whip Dad. Thanks for the iMovie videos. Greetings from France. Oh, feel the groove. Très bien. Merci beaucoup. I murdered that. I'm sorry. Okay. I want a DJ mix of my own voice saying silly stuff. Yes. Yes, do it. And then it says, I'm sure Neil would do it for you, Christina. I'm sure. I need you to have one of this small horn. I know I butchered that too. So sorry. Okay. And then the whole, like, is there a time limit for songs? Yeah, it used to be like people would try and believe like, oh, if it's less than 8 seconds, or oh, if it's less than 15 seconds, oh, So one of the reasons why some companies may not be coming after you yet is because your channel's too small and you don't have a lot of views and their bots haven't like just caught on to you yet. Keep in mind as well that sometimes depending on the length of the song, the DCMA can do either a strike or a claim. Very, very different things. Now, claim is going to be anything from you can't use this song and play it in certain countries. So it'll be like, this video is now blocked in certain countries because of this music. So nope, you can't use it in like X countries, and it will list them all. Sometimes it will say, hey, this is not a strike. This is basically just a claim. And what that means is, even if you're monetized or not or whatever else, any ad revenue that you would get on your video will never go to you. It will only go to the copyright holder. So it could be, let's say that you have, a video that's getting millions upon millions of views, which could be several $1,000s. You will get none of that. Only the person with the copyright is going to get that. So some no-name record company or whatever it is going to get that. You will never get that. And their agreement with you is, fine, we'll take all your money, but we won't put a strike on your channel. So a lot of people will put in popular music, get a claim, but to them it's more important that the exposure is there. So this could be the case sometimes where if you're a fitness instructor, a dance choreographer, you might be getting hit with claims all of the time. And a lot of the time you'll also see it's been claimed because it will say, like in the description, it'll be like music by UMG, blah, 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 when it's some person doing a cover. Okay, so that's going to be a very clear instance of where they have a claim. So the copyright holder is fine with the thing still being out there, but all of the money, the monetization from it is going to only be going to the person, like UMG or whoever it is, right? And they could still, even if they claim it, they could still block it in certain countries. So just keep that in mind. So, but if you're, let's say, a fitness instructor or choreographer, and what you really want is people to come to, your dance studio in LA, which is, the very Millennium or whichever dance studio that's super famous. So you see tons of people using copywritten music, doing their choreography, because what they're pushing is sometimes lessons and whatnot for people to come to their dance studio. So just keep in mind that just because you see lots of videos online that have copywritten music, it doesn't mean that it's necessarily okay in terms of they're getting money. It just, they may have a claim on it, but the agreement is the video stays up. They just don't get to keep any money. Okay, so hopefully that helps differentiate a little bit. Those are different than copyright strikes. And strikes is when you, when they decide to go a bit further and they want your video removed. They don't want it shown at all, not just certain kind, like at all. And so you have to then initiate some sort of legal action against the copyright or whatever holder, and you would have to try and basically prove that you have the rights to be able to use that. And so that's kind of the thing like H3 went through in one of their big claims, or you see a lot of that for people who are always trying to claim fair use under whatever fair use law it is, for like commentary, review, stuff like that. And it is really going to depend. And YouTube isn't necessarily judge, jury, executioner. They're just kind of like that middleman saying like, oh, we've received a claim. This thing is down until you guys like work out your shit. Is kind of how that works. Okay. Yes. Hopefully that helps with that. Let's see. It says, I have a very good friend of mine who uses music and other audio that is copyrighted all of the time. He thinks he is somehow immune. I keep telling him they will get him. What will happen when they catch it? Yeah, and it depends too, because sometimes once you're on a radar, they can come after you and they could get you real quick. You could get like several claims all at once. And sometimes you also see this when people who might have switched record companies and stuff too, all of a sudden their new company, because some companies are notoriously worse than others. They're going through all the time and just searching and scraping, and they'll do copyright claims a lot of the time, or because they just want to collect the revenue. Doesn't matter if it's a 5-second whatever in a 20-minute vlog, they just want the money. So, and they know that it's kind of scary to go through this whole thing and be like, oh, you're going to try and go through legal proceedings to say it's okay. Like, and most people aren't going to do it and fight it. And so they're just going to, there's been articles about how some of these like music companies are predatory because that's what they're doing. Their revenue model is going out there, combing for all the copywritten stuff that they have rights to, and then taking all that money. And that's how they make money. So it's an interesting model. But yeah, I would always just say like, why are you worried about, not you, but I'm saying for all the people who are always like, well, this person has copyright music. And I'm like, okay, that's great. One, you don't know that they don't have a licensing agreement like the Remy situation. You don't know that they didn't pay for a license through Soundstripe or through Licked, right? So you can't always point at anyone and be like, this is the perfect example of why I'm not going to get caught or why it's okay. You can still get caught. You can still get dinged. You can still have a copyright strike or even get your channel taken away. So why do it? No Cardi B song is worth it to play it when you can just find a different song. Okay. One that you have rights to. One that you have rights to, okay? I used a cover of Stairway to Heaven by Iron Horse, and I got a notice saying that the video was not going to be listed worldwide. Yeah. So that claim, they can block it in certain countries. I've totally had the same because I have a music channel. I just sing covers, and I can tell you every single time it'll be like, you can't have it in these countries. You can't. I'm not monetized on that channel anyway, but like I couldn't monetize if I wanted to. Copyright claims from multiple, because it's a 1 hour or 2 hour musical live stream. I sing lots of songs, so every single one of them gets flagged, even if I change it, even if I change the melody. And this is guitar acoustic singing, and they're still like, we know that this song is clean or whatever it is, so even melody, they know. They know. Let's see here. That is when I started having my stepson make music. Yeah, absolutely. So thanks, Shelly. I needed to know about regarded copyright. Oh, yay. You're welcome. I'm glad that I was able to help you out with that. Okay. I'm going to check one more time if you have any last minute questions in the Google form. Okay, we answered the one about iMovie. We answered about fast forwarding. We asked about the music. Time limits for music. That doesn't exist. Okay. Just make sure. Perfect. Okay. So, I hope that was helpful for everyone watching. Thank you for being here. I'm going to go have lunch, but I'm really excited that I like hanging out live with y'all and having conversations. So thanks for hanging out with me. If you want to see more Q&A style videos and live streams and you like that kind of thing, make sure you like and subscribe. Oh, I do have to say, I missed this on my other video. 1 second here. YouTube channel members always get a shout out in all of the live streams. The platinum member ones get on screen mention. So thank you to TubeBuddy for being a platinum level member. If you're interested in memberships, you can click the join button down below. It will show you a video about how that works and all the levels and stuff like that. Because we do stuff like private member live streams and Q&A sessions and stuff like that. So if you're interested in that, make sure you check that out down below. Thank you all for hanging out with me today. I will see you guys in a video very soon. So come back on Thursday. I'm going to have another special guest interview. I'm very excited about that one. Maybe some of y'all know him. Okay, there's your first hint. You guys can guess who it is. But it's a guy, and he's in the tech space, and a friend of mine. And I'll also say he's from Seattle as well. So Seattle, guy, tech. Those 3 things are your hint. Thursday for the Triple T show. Oh, Dr. Stin. Oh, it's probably Pam. I didn't know you were here. It's nice to see you. Thank you for being here. I will see you in the room on Thursday. I would love to get you in here one of these days, Pam. I'm assuming it's Pam. Yeah. So one of these days, I got Christina in here. I got Pam in here. We will get Pam in here. Also, I believe I'm gonna have Jessica Hatch in here one of these days. I'm getting all the ladies together, right? Washington in the house. Yes, Seattle. So yes, those are your hints though for Thursday. It's a guy, he's in tech, and he's from Seattle. But your guess is in. But we'll get Pam in here, and yeah, let's talk about it in one of the live streams, on a Thursday, right? But all right, everyone, thanks for hanging out with me. I will see you all in a video very soon.